Hey everybody, Mike Slifer here in the First Alert Forecast Center. If you saw our push alert, perhaps you got it on your phone to know that we were starting up our First Alert Weather Extra. We are going to be focusing on some big temperature swings. We're going to be talking a bit about the tropics. We have Tropical Storm Gabrielle right now, as well as some things looking a little bit longer range forward when it comes to daylight and our normal temperatures. But before we get into any of that, let's talk about that sunset out there tonight. Steve Franklin snapped this picture in Glastonbury. Everything looking nice and green in the foreground still, but pretty soon we'll start to see some more color in the trees. Right now, looking a little bit higher in the sky, we see the oranges and reds caused by that lingering cloudiness. We'll take things away from the weather aspect for a second. Check out this bobcat in Canton that Andrew Urban snapped. Certainly an animal you want to view from a distance, but pretty cool to get a nice picture nonetheless. And how about something else to get us into the fall season a little bit as we approach the start of astronomical fall. Jim Meehan snapped this picture of some pumpkins in Canaan, and certainly a sign of where things are headed. Today, temperatures ended up a bit higher than we originally anticipated. It was certainly brighter than we thought, too. Mid and upper 70s across the state. Tweed New Haven came so close to making it to 80 degrees today, but the official high temperature was 79. And for the Hartford area, we made it to 76. Another day slightly above normal for this time of year. Normal high is around 75. And we will watch temperatures actually climb a little bit more as we get into the rest of this work week. Something else we did not see this week, rain. It has been dry Monday, yesterday, today. We're expecting it to be dry tomorrow, Friday, right into and through the weekend, and even through most of next week. So certainly not looking like much in the way of meaningful rainfall across the state, which is something we can use. We just don't have anything to track. First Alert Live radar is scanning clear and dry right now. We had some very light, isolated showers roll through, really just sprinkles. And we didn't, unfortunately, see the meaningful rainfall from those, but that also meant that we didn't have big impacts to any outdoor plans you may have had. Today was Connecticut Day at the Big E. It was certainly great to get up there. Temperatures were, again, seasonable for this time of year, maybe seasonably warm, and it was pretty bright. Now, over the last 6 hours, we have been watching showers fade as that area of low pressure weakens, and we will watch this trend continue overnight. While we do keep the clouds around, the forcing for showers is pretty light. So what we mean by that is that we actually need the air to be rising in order to get showers, and we just don't see much in the way to make that happen. So cloudiness, sure. Showers, well, there could be some isolated ones, and they will also be on the lighter side. Here's our ICAM view in Hartford. It's currently 69 in the capital city, and you can actually see some of the low cloudiness, some of the building lights, the skyscraper lights reflecting off of those low clouds. Here's a live look at our ICAM in New Haven. Looking off to the north, we can see some cloudiness, 71 degrees right now in the Elm City. The green looking great, too. It is dry currently, winds out of the east at 5 miles per hour, and we see dry parking lots on our ICAM here in Torrington, and certainly not much going on there in the Naugatuck River either. Things are pretty quiet across the state, and we've been dry. If you haven't noticed, perhaps the streams and creeks by you, some of the rivers running a bit low, certainly. And that does include the Connecticut River. I actually noticed over the weekend I was by the Rocky Hill Glastonbury Ferry, and it was closed at one point due to low water on the river. So that certainly is just another piece of the puzzle here, and another sign that we certainly could use some rain. Now, First Alert Futurecast shows isolated shower chances overnight. Again, isolated, many towns stay entirely dry, and anything that actually moves through and develops will be very light. So we're talking sprinkles here. As we get closer to dawn tomorrow, same idea. Some sprinkles or light showers possible. But once we get past sunrise, shortly thereafter, we'll see things dry out entirely. By noon, we're almost back to full sunshine. And we get there as we get into the middle of the afternoon, approaching the evening. Sunset tomorrow is in the 6 o'clock hour. So if you have plans to head to West Springfield tomorrow, you want to get up to the Big E, we're looking at another beautiful day for it. Plenty of sunshine out there. Not much in the way of humidity either. Temperatures will peak tomorrow around 80 degrees, so it will be a little bit warm out there. Look at how the cloud icon at 10 o'clock disappears entirely thereafter. We're talking just full sunshine and another seasonably warm day. Currently, we have seen temperatures drop down a wide range again with that easterly component to the wind. We're looking at 63 in Groton and Putnam, 62 right now in Salisbury, 71 in Meriden, 71 Tweed, New Haven. So it really depends on where you are in the state as to what you're experiencing. And we are anticipating that things will get a little bit cooler as the night goes on, but temperatures are very slow to fall. When we have cloud cover like this, it traps some of the Earth's radiation. So it ends up being reflected back down to the Earth's surface instead of radiating out to space. So that means temperatures typically fall more slowly. We're expecting many towns to still settle between 55 and 60 tonight, 58 in Thomaston and Washington, 57 in Kent, 56 in Goshen, 57 in Canton and Granby, 59 tonight in Suffield, 60 Southington, New Britain, 59 in Ellington, Stafford, 59, 58 in Tolland and Storrs, 60 along the 395 corridor. Jewett City tonight coming in around 60 degrees, 60 in Uncasville, 59 in Salem, 61 Niantic, 60 in Portland, 62 in Old Saybrook, 60 in Durham, 59 tonight in Naugatuck, 61 in Sonia, 63 in Milford. So it really depends on where you are, but we'll say 55 to 60 throughout inland Connecticut, 60 to 65 closer to the shoreline, which means tomorrow morning as you send your students out to the bus stop, we're really not looking at much in the way of needing thick jackets or anything like that. Temperatures by lunchtime will be around 70 degrees, and we end the day between 75 and 80. So that low pressure moves away from us, and we'll have a cold front that drops south. And as it does so, it will pass through dry. We're really not looking at much in the way of even cloudiness as this crosses Connecticut because we just don't have any moisture around. So as that front crosses, it will eventually lead to a change in our air mass, but we're looking at a dry and bright end to the work week, setting the stage for some great weather for our Friday night football game of the week. Conard at Bristol Central, 77 at 5 p.m., full sunshine, 70 at 7 o'clock by the end of the game, 9 o'clock, 65 degrees. So yes, a light jacket probably a good idea, especially if you'll be out in shorts or a t-shirt later, or rather earlier on in the evening when things are a little bit warmer. We're talking temps in the low and mid 80s out there on Friday for highs. That means that Saturday it'll feel a little bit different if you're heading to the Rent to see Ball State take on UConn. 3:30 kickoff, 63 degrees at 11 o'clock for some tailgating before the game. Plenty of sunshine out there, climbing to around 70 by kickoff, and we'll only see highs in the lower 70s on Saturday. We're not looking at much in the way of mugginess. In fact, you can really just see the downward trend there. Very dry air settles in behind that front for Saturday and Sunday, which is part of the reason why it will be so bright, and we'll see some crisp mornings out there too. Pollen counts low to moderate the next couple days, maybe a slight increase Saturday as we head into the weekend. So just something to keep an eye on if you are allergic to ragweed and grass, which are the two big pollens right now. In the tropics, there are two areas being monitored for development. Yes, there are two yellow shadings here, basically on top of each other in very similar areas of the Atlantic. So two different disturbances to monitor, and we will, of course, keep you updated, give you the first alert if anything actually develops. But interesting to see, nonetheless, how close they are in spatially in the Atlantic. They both have a low chance of actually becoming named in the next 7 days. But we do have a named system right now that we are also tracking. Tropical Storm Gabrielle out there has winds of 50 miles an hour right now. It's moving to the northwest at 14 miles per hour, and that trajectory is expected to continue as it slowly strengthens. So it takes a little bit of time, but once we get into the weekend especially, we could be looking at a Category 1 hurricane as it makes its way closer to Bermuda. It looks like the storm will likely be out to sea. So we'll be watching this very closely. We don't really at this time anticipate any impacts locally, but again, we'll be the first to alert you if anything changes. We certainly have plenty of time to monitor it since it is so far away. If any of the other waves end up becoming named, we have Umberto up next, and then Imelda, and then followed by Jerry, Karen, Lorenzo, Melissa, and Nestor. So that would get us through through the entire second column of names here. We are certainly keeping our eyes on the tropics. We know that the tropical Atlantic hurricane season goes through November 30th, so there's still plenty of time to go. In the meantime, at home, we're talking temperature swings, highs in the 80s the next couple of days, overnight lows in the 40s this weekend, 49 Saturday morning, 47 Sunday morning. And this is the final weekend of astronomical summer. So the autumnal equinox occurs on Monday at 2:19. That is when we will officially transition over to astronomical fall. Temperatures next week, anything but fall-like as we climb back into the low and eventually mid-80s during the day with 60s overnight. Shoreline highs will go from the upper 70s tomorrow to the mid-80s Friday, low 70s Saturday, Sunday, back into the mid-70s by Monday, and then back to near 80 points thereafter. At this point in time, we are thinking dry conditions will persist. There's some model differences by the middle of next week, but We have plenty of time to get into the details there. The 6 to 10 day outlook for temperatures, which brings us from the 23rd through the 27th of September, so really approaching the end of the month here, showing these deep shades of orange and red, indicating the higher likelihood the temperatures will be running above normal to end the month. Something else to keep in mind here is that we only have about a month left of sunsets in the 6 o'clock hour on October 21st. Sunset will be at 5:59, but before we get there, October 12th, we're looking at sunsets sunrises in the 7 a.m. hour. So lots of changes here over the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks. That's when, of course, we eventually are looking ahead to changing the clocks, too. So we will be tracking all of that for you. In the meantime, let's settle down and enjoy what is going to be a great end to the work week and a beautiful fall-like weekend. Wherever your plans take you, no impacts are expected. You can always stay on top of the forecast with the free First Alert Weather app. We'll have another First Alert Weather Extra streaming live tomorrow morning on WFSB Plus at 8 a.m. Join us in the Wax and 20 and on Channel 3 tonight at 11. Have a great night.